where Rev amount is parody.
Hello, welcome to episode 32 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. My name's John Denton and I'm back, and with me as always, Chet Roivas.
What's happening?
So if you've not listened to the podcast before, then there's 31 now, so sort that out straight away. Two top 10 lists, games we've been playing the most this week. Number 10's the least, number 1's the most. Don't like waffling. Let's get going. Chet, number 10.
Right, my number 10, I actually did what you did a couple of weeks ago and realised at the last second that I only had 9. So I have played my number 10, but not enough I didn't intend to speak about it, but I'll speak about it briefly anyway. It's called City Tuesday on the Xbox 360.
Indie game?
It's one of those 7 or 8, I think it was, indie games that are part of that indie game uprising thing to sort of highlight the greatest of Xbox Live indie games.
Yeah.
The menu screen, the main menu came up, and I decided in my head that I was definitely going to buy it. I meant to Google this actually. It's rendered in a specific, you know, the universal symbols that are on like toilet doors for male and female.
Yeah.
The people look like that.
Right.
It's a white world with some flashes of colour, but it's all sort of boxy and incredibly hard to describe. It looks like a very simplistic mock-up of what an architect was mocking up a. It's very simplistic, basically.
Right.
It follows It has a similar plot to that Jake Gyllenhaal movie Source Code.
Oh yeah.
Basically, there's a series of bombs left around all these environments. One's a museum, one's a train station, and you have 5 attempts at doing the same day. You play the same day 5 times, and you have to defuse all of the bombs. Some of them, like there's a bomb that's in a room of a museum that's got diamonds in it, so as soon as you defuse the bomb, the alarm goes off and you spend the rest of the day in the room, so you have to sort of work out in which order to do them.
Gotcha.
I played it for 7-8 minutes. I had to rush out afterwards, so I'm going to buy the full game at some point this week and play it again, but it looks really, really impressive. And that's right, there's a fast forward mechanic, which I don't know how that plays a part. I suppose once you get locked in a room, it lets you fast forward. It's basically just a load of seemingly good ideas. Whether they're
that sounds good. Is it 80 points?
80 points. So I was like, I mean, it looks like 80 points, and it looks like it should cost a shitload more than that. So yeah, it might not live up to what I'm expecting it to, the expectations that I have. Yeah. But it's looking really, really tidy.
It does sound good. What's it called again?
City Tuesday.
City Tuesday. All right, I'm going to write that down on a piece of paper right now, and I'm going to check that out. That looks all right.
If I had
Sounds
a penny
good.
for every time you've said that, and
you'd have about 9p.
Yeah,
you should have 9p if you
come
want.
good on it this time. Actually, have a look.
I will do. I've written it on a piece of paper. It kind of says city and then just a T and then a scribble, but I'll know what that means.
Will you?
Yeah. Or if not, 10p. So you win either way.
Incidentally, download Quiet Please while you're there as well.
That's on another piece of paper in a different book.
Yeah, indeed.
Number 10 for me is Fable the Journey. I don't know. Fable the Journey. I don't know. It's a bit egregious of me to even have this in the list because I played it for about 4 seconds at Euro Gamer Expo, but I watched it being played for a bit longer than that. When I played it, I sat down and the Kinect wasn't working properly. I don't know if that was the game's fault or what was going on, but I was just like, I just don't want to play this shit. Then I watched someone else playing it, and that kind of reinforced my opinions when I sat there. But I mean, I must emphasise the fact that I didn't see it being played for more than 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm not passing judgment. That was just my initial gut reaction to it. Is it later on your list? I got a feeling
it's number 2. It's number 2. So I'll speak about it in a bit. I'm picturing some poor booth babe who you upset when you sat down. It started. You went, bah, I can't be bothered, and you got up.
No. It was a young fella, and I managed to get in and out before he noticed that he was talking to someone else.
Okay.
But otherwise I'd have been stuck there for 20 minutes trying to pretend that I liked it.
Okay, well, that guy probably cried himself to sleep that night. I hope you're happy.
Probably did. Saw his assignment, to be fair.
Okay, my number 9 is Lunar Racer on the iPhone. It's in the free app a day this week. It's been there all week, so I think it might be permanently free. You're a little race car racing around a planet.
The moon, maybe?
Possibly. I don't know. I don't think it's the same environment. Yeah, but I don't think it's the same every time. I mean, you're not
different
racing...
moons.
Different
Phobos.
moons. Yeah. Yeah, you're racing around. It's reasonably neat. You hold the left to use gravity to pull you down to the surface, and holding the right screen sort of gives you a bit of a speed boost. And you also have to tilt it to sort of direct where your vehicle goes. You have to do backflips for challenges and stuff. Collect coins that are high up, and then dodge things that are high up. So you have to pull back down with the gravity. It's all right. It's not bad at all.
Freebie.
Yeah, I think it's permanently free, but it might not be. But if you like the look of it, I think it's... You won't know. I don't even know if there's a free trial. I should really do more research. It's okay for what it is, and although it's got the buy more currency structure, it doesn't seem to be pretty aggressive. I played it for a little while. It's nice, actually, yeah. It's quite nice. Lunar Racer.
All right, Lunar Racer.
Yeah.
That sounds all right.
It is all right.
My number 9 is not free. It's FIFA 13. Yeah, I mean, I've talked ad nauseum about the football games, so I don't want to bang on about it too much. And the other one is later on my list. But yeah, I just have to be careful. You know, when you kind of pick teams, I don't mean picking a football team. I mean, like, there's two camps in some sort of situation.
Yeah.
And you pick, I'm on Team Pro Evo instead of Team FIFA. So instantly my brain starts, it's like, fuck FIFA, this is shit. But in actual fact, of course it's not. It's still very, very, very good. I've just chosen the things that I like about Pro Evo more than the things I like about FIFA this year. And I'll talk about them later. But it's good to remind myself as much as anything else, not to, just because I like one doesn't mean the other's doing anything particularly wrong.
Yeah, I haven't given up on FIFA yet. I think there's a danger that I'm going to end up keeping hold of both football games. I've got it's number 7 on my list, but yeah, I've not given up on it yet. I do think it's too fast, but the package, I'm loving some of those extra modes. They're outstanding. But playing online, I do feel that there's, like when we played Pro Evo, we'll speak about it later. Forget I ever mentioned it. That through ball I did, the lob through ball that landed at my player's feet in the box, one of the greatest things of all time. I did that. That was the well-judged decision that I made. FIFA, too often, I'm just like, you didn't work for that goal. You didn't earn it. I still think it's essentially a masterpiece, but yeah, I'm on the same team as you. Okay, right. My number 8 is Virtua Fighter 5.
No way.
Yeah.
All right. I'm intrigued now.
Why is that no way?
Because I just never thought, just as like I can't even remember what it's called, I've written it so poorly, the game that I wrote down on my notepad a minute ago, I thought this would be like that for you. I thought you'd never ever touch it. Yeah, no, I downloaded the trial and I played through a round of arcade mode. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, nothing convinced me that I needed to own it, even though it's on sale at the moment. It's half price. It's extraordinarily fast-paced, very simple. I mean, like, rounds can last no time at all. Yeah, they can. But it's simple and engaging. I was surprised at how derivative all of the characters were. I mean, the problem with fighting games is that you don't know who came first with it. Yeah. But there's an E Honda. There's I can't remember. There was a load of fighting game characters who are just endlessly. Yeah, a lot of them came from Virtua Fighter first. Yeah, I thought that might have been the case. Yeah. But yeah, it didn't do anything to stand out. That's the problem. It was. You need to play it with another person on a classic fighting game scenario, but you need to play it, and you start having, weirdly similar to Pro Evo, you start having like amazing moments over and over again in the matches. Yeah. They're not as amazing as catching someone at the last second with it, like Counter Ultra and Super Street Fighter. It's a bit more grounded than that, but yeah, I still rate it as technically the best 3D fighter. What? Yeah. Yes, I think it's a masterpiece. Wow. Oh, yeah, of course. No, I remember you talking about it. I mean, I liked it enough, but I'm kind of... The problem... You said it's simple, but it's really, really not. It's simple at first, but it's so much depth. Yeah, so much depth. I've no doubt about that. I might have been inclined to go deeper into it, but the problem with going into
pre-Christmas is that I'm just looking for games that I can fucking stick on the done pile.
Yeah.
And you just don't start. Like, I don't need. Like, I'm looking for any reason not to think. I'll take a punt on 600 points. I don't need it.
It's not the time to play it. I mean, it's a really old game anyway. It's like 5-6 years old or something, and it doesn't age. So save it for next year. Maybe one day we'll sesh it.
Yeah.
Be a shame if you never got a chance to sesh it for an hour or so, just so you know, so you can make your mind up then.
Did you use a stick or did you use a pad?
Yeah. You can play with the pad, but it's better on a stick.
Yeah, I played with the pad, but yeah, okay, everything's better on a stick.
Yeah, but it's not like so bad that playing on a pad rule you can't play. You know, like Street Fighter, you can't really play it on a pad because there's not many quarter circles and things like that. You can play reasonably well on a pad, especially PS3 pad.
Okay.
My number 8 is New Style Soccer. I won't really bang on about it very much. It just never gets old. Every time that I see the icon on my phone, I'm like, mate, yeah, I'll go on in. I'll have a game, but I'm probably bored of it. And then I get sucked in for another 20 minutes, half an hour. Everybody that I've ever told about it that's bought it has become obsessed with it. And I said that seems to be the case for everybody. I'm sure you've played it by now, people who are listening. Brilliant game. Will be in the top few in my games of the year, no question. It has to be.
Fair enough. Not much to say about that because...
Yeah, I banged on about it loads. It's just in the list.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
Well, my number 7's FIFA. Spoken about it. It's still there.
Right. Well, yeah. Firing through, my number 7 is Borderlands 2. Again, no time. This is a time of year where it's stupid, actually. This particular 2-week period is particularly stupid. Especially as we had, I was rude enough to go on holiday, which obviously doesn't leave you with a lot of time to play video games. But I want to play Borderlands 2 a lot. I really like what I've played. I want to play it in co-op, which you said I didn't want to do last week, which was very rude of you and David.
No, I didn't. I said that you weren't playing it in co-op, and you said that you were having just as much fun.
That's right. No, I said I reckon it would be more fun in co-op. So it was libelous.
Okay.
But yeah, co-op's sometimes hard to organise with people. But it's frustrating because it's one of those games that I really want to play, but I know how big it is, and more stuff has come since then, and then more stuff's coming in this week, and then more stuff will be next week. And I'm like, at the moment, that's the one that seems to be slipping to the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
As more and more stuff comes in, that's probably slightly more my cup of tea. Borderlands loot, that kind of thing isn't really something that massively appeals to me in the same way that it does to other people. That's not to say that I don't like the game a lot, because I really, really do, but there are other aesthetics in games that are coming out and that I've got hold of already, which are more me, and there's Pro Evo as well, which I'll talk about later.
Are you even going to bother finishing it?
Well, I've barely even started it, to be honest. But it's gonna be there. But I worry that it's going to sit next to Skyrim in the games that I'll never get rid of, because one day I will go back to them, which I will do with Skyrim. But I do worry about it. I worry about it with the games that are coming out this week as well. It's going to drop down to like 5th in my priority list of box games, and then there's a bunch of like downloadable games that are coming out soon that look really cool as well. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough in Borderlands.
Yeah, I mean I'm playing it with a couple of friends who are skin, and they don't have money to invest in more than one game, so they want to finish it. And to be honest, I want to finish it. Our attitude now is we've got to get it done, and then they'll trade it in for something else.
Yeah.
The only annoying thing is that I accidentally activated a side mission when we were playing it the other day. And we ended up having this awesome, the side mission. There was a great article on Eurogamer already this week about how the side missions often are as good as the main game, and that's so true of Borderlands. You find these incredible missions almost by accident in our case. So it's a shame. I mean, as I said last week, there's a couple of my friends who are absolutely obsessed with it. I dread to think how many hours they've spent. And
every time I know the people that you're talking about, and every time they're on there, they seem neck deep in a completely different game of Borderlands with different characters at different levels,
playing with different friends.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, they're obsessed with it, and I can understand that obsession. And part of me wants to sort of get that deep into it, but I don't have the time, and B, there's far too much other stuff coming out.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I mean, we still do. I mean, it's further on my list, but might as well speak about it now. I'm still thinking some people are going to think it's the best game of the year, and I totally understand that because it is astounding. yeah, it's just really, really difficult. I just wish I had more time to play it. And I do. It's one of those annoying things that we've made an agreement that we're going to try and race through it, despite the fact that I feel kind of gutted about that. But then I've got no choice.
You kind of want to. That's the thing with me. I don't want to stick it on, bash through the story mode, and miss out on the experience of the game, because just like a Skyrim, you talk about the side missions being the game, and that's where the best content lies. I mean, even more so in Skyrim, it's all about stumbling across side missions within side missions within side missions. In that game, you call them quests, I guess, but. And that's where you go on these stories that feel completely unique to you. You feel like nobody else is having this experience, even though they probably are. And that's what I want to get stuck into in Borderlands as well, whether it be on my own or with other people. But yeah, I don't want to do the bad thing and just race through it. So I need to give it the time it deserves, but that time literally doesn't exist at the moment.
Yeah, I will finish it, but and again, it's so strange how I get so much pleasure, and we collectively do when we play it, from the nerdiest things. And again, I was in a situation the other night where me and my friends were swapping weapons, deciding who can do what when, making sure we've all got the right element, whatever you call the different attributes of weapons for the right situation. I mean, honestly, the nerdiest shit that I never thought I'd ever be compelled by, but it's great. They've shoehorned it into a shooter, and it works like a dream. I love it, but I just fucking wish it came out. I wish all games came out when no other games were around.
That's it. I could just do with less games, but then you don't want to pick and choose, because all the ones that you like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just one of those really stupid first world situations that there's not a lot you can do about it.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was my number 7.
Oh, right, okay, of course it was. Okay, my number 6 is Medal of Honor Warfighter.
The beta.
I've been playing the beta for quite a bit.
Beta? I don't know. I say beta.
What did I just say?
You said beta, but sometimes you say beta.
I normally say beta.
Damn.
Yeah.
Another first world problem.
Beta. Online beta. Yeah, I don't know. I'm quietly impressed with it. It's like the first Medal of Honor. Did you ever? You didn't really play much of Dice's.
I played a fair bit until it just became spawn sniping after a few days, and then I just stopped. But I really liked the first few days of it.
Yeah, what was funny about that is that everyone was expecting a Call of Duty ripoff, and that was what it was. But it was built around, I think, the fact that sniper rifles fired like machine guns. If you were camped as a sniper, you could just fire off instant kill shots like a nutcase. But the maps were built to accommodate that. So once I got to grips with it, I had an absolute fucking ball on that game. Just moving carefully between cover and then running up and flanking all these shithead snipers that used to sit on the top of the level every time you played it. So it looked like it was going to be generic to the Power 10. And it did have a bit of its own personality. It's one of those games that I played and I was gutted that friends of mine didn't get involved in.
Yeah.
This is kind of the same, because it's all based around this fire team sort of dynamic. Have you heard about it?
So is it just sort of little teams of 2, is it?
It is. So each team is split into fire teams of 2.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, the thing about it is that in Call of Duty, 2 people moving around together is not the smartest way, because there's the prevalence of hand grenades.
Yeah.
And what they've done here to sort of accommodate that is that hand grenades have a very, very small blast radius, but that almost as soon as they hit the deck, they explode.
Okay.
So I got the most awesome grenade kill the other day. As long as you time it and judge the distance perfectly and it lands near their feet, pow. It's really, really satisfying. But yeah, they can. They're a mobile spawn beacon. They can replenish your health and your ammo. So you want them nearby as often as you can, but not too close. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But if you do, I haven't played it with friends yet. I've only played it with randoms. But you can see when you're up against an opposing team who've got loads of pairs of friends, they smash you. Because you need to be in constant dialogue. I think it's looking really, really promising. The game mode, I think it's called, what the hell was it called? Hot Point? That's a brand of dishwasher, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Hot Point. Hotland? I can't remember. It's reminiscent of the main game mode from the Homefront multiplayer. Do you remember that? Where there's one objective and then it splinters off depending on who gets it. It's the same as that. And it's basically a best of 5 thing. And the map's really nicely designed. At first you think it's just bottlenecks, but there's pathways and doors and stuff, and there's ways to get in. So I've had a really great time with it, I have to say.
It's not DICE this time, is it?
No, it's Danger Close.
Yeah, they're doing it all, are they?
Yeah. So I wasn't expecting a great deal, but whilst it still feels like essentially a COD rip-off, it plays like something a lot more substantial than that. I think if you're used to playing games as 2 people, if you play shooters with a mate, this could be your shooter of choice. It's interesting, really interesting. I think it could be actually really good, but then again, it's so difficult. I don't think it's not amazing enough to completely render COD, Battlefield, everything else irrelevant.
Yeah.
So in the end, itself is irrelevant in a way.
Yeah, it's a tough sell, isn't it? I'm sure the game will do well. The last one did very well, but
I have a feeling that I'm going to fall in love with this, and no one else is going to have it.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I might download that.
I'll download the beta because I'd like to play it.
I'm very, very bored of online shooters as a whole, but I'm always interested to see ones with new ideas, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially, I might try it for free.
The cool thing is that, if you're in a gunfight, I can run up behind you and heal you and replenish your ammunition as well. The other annoying thing about playing it without friends is that I've played it with randoms, and a lot of them don't even realise that that's part of the game, so they just run off and die, and it's like, what's the point? The other cool thing is that you can earn points, and if, say, you died, I run over and I kill the guy that killed you, you respawn faster and immediately on me. There's quite a lot of benefit to avenging your teammate getting killed. But yeah, not a good looking game. Visually it looks slightly like an upscale PS2 game, but it's functional. The beta, no problems and whatnot. But yeah, promising. Yeah, for sure.
Interesting. All right. My number 6 is Rock Band Blitz, the world's most frustrating video game.
Frustrating?
Because somehow you have become basically the best player in the world.
Yeah, I wish.
If not, well, I mean, you're like in the top 20 players in the world, probably, seemingly. You keep getting number 1 in the world on leaderboards. I'm not, that's pretty legit. So, I'm screwed basically. I can't enjoy it because the only people that I'm competing with are you and your other half, and you're both better than me, as I said before, and so it's just misery. I do really well and I'm really happy with myself, and I get 5 gold stars, and then good, they've both got 100,000 more than me. Wonderful. So I just feel worthless as I'm succeeding.
It's terrible, Rock Band Blitz. It is actually terrible. It's my number 1, so I'll speak about it a bit more later on. It's it's not terrible. It's absolutely wondrous, but I can't turn my Xbox on without jumping into it. I physically can't. But I'm
amazed that some people haven't got into it. Who David last week talked about he was a fan of frequency and amplitude, but didn't get into it. I understand the thing because he said he preferred the 3 inputs on those games, but this is just it's built in a different way. Yeah. And I think if you had 3 inputs, you wouldn't be able to switch channels quickly enough, or whatever you call them, tracks. And you can't. I couldn't fault the design of it. But
the other thing is that it is not the greatest game as soon as you start out playing it, because it doesn't explain itself well.
No, it doesn't.
And we said that. At first I was like, I should be absolutely, because I counted the days until that thing came out, and when I finally started playing it for the first time I was like, why am I not in love with this? You have to find your feet. I don't think it's sold really well. I mean, I know I'm number 1 in the world on I think 6 songs now, but they're all DLC, so 10 people could own that DLC. You never know.
Yeah, but it's more than that, because I'm always about 120th in the world, so at least that many people own it.
Yeah, it's still not great, is it? I want to try and get number 1 in the world on one of the songs actually on the game.
Yeah.
That would be a real achievement. I'll give that a whack.
You should do that.
I'll continue to do that every day until I do it, hopefully.
It's good to have ambitions.
Yeah, it kind of is and it kind of isn't, because like I said, it's not even, it's a crack-like addiction. Me and my girlfriend got up the other day and it just ate the entirety of the day. I'll have one more. It's like children.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have one more. Oh, you had two. No, I'll have to. It's honestly, we sat there all day playing. I mean, it was so much fun. And I'm not one of these people who gets guilty about playing a game for ages. It was so much fun, so it was worthwhile as far as I'm concerned. But a whole Saturday. I mean, it was a whole Saturday. We had plans. We were supposed to do a million things, and we didn't do anything. We just sat on the fucking couch and played that stupid game that's amazing. But I'll talk about it a bit more in a moment.
A whole day.
Well, not literally a whole day. I mean,
but even just the thought of having that much time, amazing.
Yeah,
amazing. So that was my number 6, wasn't it?
Yeah, my number 5 is Pro Evo. So yours is later, isn't it?
Yeah. We're doing the old switcheroo on the podcast this week. So yeah, I'll talk about that later.
Okay,
makes sense. My number 5 is Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Yikes!
Which I played at the Eurogamer Exposition. Is it Exposition?
No, is it?
Exponent? Export? I don't know.
I think it's just Expo.
Expose. Need for Speed Most Wanted is amazing.
Yeah.
Criterion. The line that goes around in my head is Criterion do not fuck about, and that's just the case here. It is a combination of Burnout Paradise and Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, with the sort of semi-realism of Hot Pursuit mixed with the open world and freedom of Burnout Paradise, with all the billboards, all that cool stuff. The sense of speed is phenomenal. The races are just... They make other games look like a joke, to be honest. You're like, oh, this is just a team on a completely different level. There are other racing games which are really, really good, but this is just... it's just a different level. And, everything about it's amazing. I can't wait.
Neither can I. I knew it. What's funny about that game is that I can't wait for it. I think Hot Pursuit and the funny thing is that I've said this a million times. They've never made a bad game. Burnout 2 was better than Burnout. Burnout 3 was better than Burnout, and they've only got better and better. Depending on your taste, you might have thought that Burnout Paradise is still their masterpiece, but I like the fact that they went back to a kind of more structured sort of game that they did with Hot Pursuit. Blending the two together, I can't wait. I cannot wait. The prospect of it I have a feeling that's going to top my list at the end of the year, just because they don't piss around. They do always deliver.
They do not.
And
it's more structured than Paradise as well. You can restart races, and it's basically races are tied to cars now. So you can find cars out in the world and jump into them. They're like parked in secret places, and then each car has its own events. So you'll rate, you'll find a Mercedes or something, and you'll do the specific races for that. And as you do it, you'll learn new mods for the car, which you can change on the fly. Even while you're driving, you can change the tyres or change the type of nitrous that you've got. And it's just it's a system that's never been done in anything else, and it works brilliantly. And I think some people, when they first get into the game, they're going to get a bit confused about how it all works, and because it's not structured like anything else, even Paradise. So once you get your head around it, just there's so many different ways of playing it, and the autolog stuff's brilliant. It's much better than it was in Hot Pursuit. I gave it a good old session at the expo, and you won't be disappointed.
Was it single player or multiplayer?
I just played single player.
Was there multiplayer available there?
No. Well, there might have been. I don't know. I was just playing single player, but there is multiplayer.
Are they still going to do that? The sort of 8-person missions that they did in Paradise?
I'm pretty sure they're in there. Yeah.
Yeah, those were great. Frustrating because people would always drop out, but absolutely great. I can't wait. I absolutely cannot wait, and it's less than a month away now. So
right at the beginning of November. Yeah, a few weeks.
Yeah, we'll be talking about it soon. Good.
Yes.
Good shit. If we have the time, obviously.
I'll make time for that.
Oh, so will I. So will I. My number 4 is Borderlands 2. We've already spoken about it. It's great. It's just great.
Yeah, I hope I find the time. It's one of those games where I'm in a situation where I just have to force myself to put it in the machine when I've got a bit of gaming time, and then I'll get back into it. But the longer I go without doing that, the less likely I am to get back into it in this period.
Yeah, it's one of those games that makes me ever so slightly wish I didn't write about games for a living and I didn't always have to be playing stuff, because the stories that my friends come back with about that they've had, I'm just like, wow, that sounds so great, and I don't have the time to be a part of that. But I'll finish it and continue playing, and it is great. If you've got any inkling to get it, just get it.
I love games where you can, like you say, where you come back with battle stories.
Yeah.
Whether even if it doesn't need to be a battle game or a war game or a combat game, but I'll talk about this with Pro Evo later on.
Yeah.
Sometimes just when systems come together and it's nothing to do with the way the designers have done it or writers or anything like that. It's just like it's just something that's unique to games. They talk about it on the Idle Thumbs podcast all the time. It's like almost the basis of all of their conversation. It's just how you have these meta stories created by video game systems, and the way you interact with them, and that's one of the things I love most about games.
Yeah. No, it's a cracker that as well for that.
Yeah, I mean that's probably why I need to play it on co-op as well, so I can enjoy some of those stories a bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
My number 4, is it me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Little Big Planet PS Vita.
Oh, go on.
I've been dying for something to play on the Vita, just to have something to play on it, as I've said before. And put this in, my God, that machine is so powerful. Some people talk about how it needs more iOS-style games on it, but I just think I don't want to play iOS-style games on it. I've got an iPhone and an iPad. I want console-style games for this thing. Whether they sell or not, or it's good for Sony, that's not really my concern. That's what I want on this console. And honestly, mate, it's pretty much indiscernible from the PS3 version. It looks amazing. All that texture and, like tangibility of Little Big Planet's in there. The creation stuff's brilliant on the touchscreen. Like you can just, same as an iPhone, pinch things to move. To change the size and rotate them and all that sort of stuff. There's stuff actually in the game where you use the touchscreen to move objects about, and they have physics that works really well. It's as charming as ever. Little Big Planet is still not the greatest platformer in the world, but it's more a game you kind of play through and just enjoy the craft and the kind of ingenuity of the designers. And then there's the ingenuity of the community as well. It's not. It's not Mario or anything like that, but I can't help but be charmed by it, even though I don't have the time or inclination to really make anything myself. Although I still have my cardboard David Brent on Little Big Planet 1, which I never finished. But one day.
Yeah, Little Big Planet's a really funny one. I always feel when I'm playing... they're marvellous games, and the amount of work that goes into them is unbelievable. And when you do mess around a bit on the... with the community and see what they've created, it's incredible. I always just felt whenever I've played one of those games that I was playing an advert for it, and there's a kind of distance that I keep from it just because it's not very much fun as a platform game.
Yeah. Even
when I'm playing those amazing levels, I mean, one of our mutual friends created one of the best levels ever.
Yeah. Which was... if you ever played, sorry to hijack you there, if you ever played an amazing Aliens level that has its own dropship section.
Yeah.
Unbelievably good. Like, it broke my mind when I saw it, because I've known the guy for years and I didn't know he had it in him. Not that he wouldn't, but you don't know any of your mates have that sort of capability to make something like that.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And then it got taken down for copyright issues, which is just, it was that's terrible. But even when I was playing those great levels, I was like, I'm not really enjoying this as a game. I'm like, when am I going to start enjoying this as an actual game? It felt like, as I said, like an advertisement. It's like, here's what we've got to offer. I'm like, I love everything about it apart from the actual game.
I know exactly what you mean, and I'm getting that already with this one. But I've accepted in my mind that I enjoy Little Big Planet more for. Oh God, what it represents, is that the way? Is that what I want to say?
I know, I know. I'm the same as that. I love the fact that it exists, and I love the fact that people love it. I just wish that I loved it more than I do.
Yeah, it's not even a thing where I admire it but don't enjoy it, like you have with some things. I actually do enjoy going through those worlds and seeing it, but the actual tactility of it as a platformer isn't as there's such a high bar for that genre in 2D. You can't really. The bar is so high.
Yeah, it's. I don't not enjoy it. Well, I kind of don't. I like it enough to play it, but there's always something else I'd rather be playing.
Yeah.
Is tactility a word?
Surely tactile. I don't know.
I'll give you tactility. Interesting. That's. But the Vita one. If you've got a Vita, it's worth getting, I presume.
Yeah, especially as there's fuck all else out in the Vita at the moment.
Can it access all the user-created levels from the PS3 version?
I don't think so, no. Because it's got... I don't think so. I'll confirm that next week.
Okay.
I'll check it out. I'm pretty sure it can't. But I might be wrong, because I often am.
Okay. Likewise. Okay, well, my number 3 is Resident Evil 6. I'm sure it's on your level somewhere.
Yeah, it's my number 2. It's on my level.
It's on my level. What do you reckon?
Well, I haven't played as much of it as I would like, but it's so big that I actually have played quite a lot of it, if that makes sense. So, I've played like only a small section of Leon's, but it's actually more hours than I'd spend on some entire games, I guess. I really like it. I really didn't like the demo. This section that I've played, good 3 hours or so, incorporated the bit from the demo, and that bit was the worst bit of all of it. The rest of it I absolutely loved. I thought it was really, really atmospheric, moved, had a good sense of pace. Some of it was kind of quiet and reasonably scary. I played it in the dark on my own with the sound up high, and it got me a few times.
Yeah.
And then it just ramps the pace up later on in that first chapter, and it's just absolute chaos. I read a great little, I think it was a forum post telling you how to play the game, because it does a terrible job of explaining itself. There are all these new moves in there that have never been in a Resi before. Like the diving backwards, the crouch, the roll, all this stuff that you need to play it properly. And I get the feeling a lot of people who have scored the game very poorly have played it like as if it was 4, but with standard third-person controls that it has, and not used any of that stuff, and then complained when they can't play it properly or it's super frustrating or something. I've got a lot more to play, so I might change my mind, but I get the feeling that there's a bit of a reviewer's malaise going on. But yeah, I mean, there were still a couple of bits which annoyed me in that time, but I was really impressed with it. Maybe it's because I went in with lower expectations, because I played it after the reviews dropped, but I'm just really excited to go back to it, to be honest. I don't get the hate. I especially can't, and we talked about this before between us, but I cannot understand how anybody could score it lower than Operation Raccoon City, which is a fucking shit game.
Yeah.
There was better stuff in the first... Well, actually, the first 10 minutes of Resident Evil 6 are terrible because they're just QTEs. But, after that, when the game starts properly, there's better stuff in the first 20 minutes of that than all of Operation Raccoon City, easily. Yeah. Easily. So, what do you think? You've played a lot more of it than me.
I really like it. I do like it. There's a lot of things wrong with it, and, I think you have to take them on the chin. But... yeah, I'm always sceptical when I see reviews that are really poisonous and really, as angry as some of the Resident Evil 6 reviews were. And whenever a game's frustrating, I always have to sit back and say, why is this frustrating? And Resident Evil 6, at one point, me and my girlfriend have been going through it again on co-op. You've only done Leon?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's poor, but I haven't had time. But that's the game I'm going back to. That's the reason that I'm not going back to Borderlands at the moment. I'll be going back to Resi.
We're doing the Jake campaign at the moment, and there's a set piece that got me so angry. I threw the pad down. I was like, who thought this was a good idea? This is just bad design. It wasn't bad design. It was actually, thinking about it, it was actually a really nice idea. There's this bit where you're in a snowstorm and you have to ascend basically a glacier. And on your way to the top of it, you get into 3 or 4 gunfights, but you have to be really pensive because you can't see very well, and you have to, because basically if you get hit, you fall down and you slide all the way back to the beginning.
Oh god, that sounds annoying.
It's annoying, but it's not a bad... I don't think that's a bad idea as a gameplay device, because by the end of it, we were being really careful, making sure one of us was on one side, making sure we could see everything. But yeah, like I said, I was so frustrated until you really just okay, that you really get your head around it. There are scenarios in that game where you're convinced that the game's at fault when it isn't. You are playing it like you think it's. I mean, because I started playing it like it was 4 or 5, and there are things that annoy you about it. I mean, I don't know what these moves are. This guy was talking about. Are they?
I retweeted it. I'll send you the link afterwards. There's 12 moves you need to know to play Resident Evil 6, and I was reading it. It's like, damn, all this is in there. It's like stuff like you can slide and duck under things like in Vanquish. It's like there's so much in there that you would just never know because it's just. There's no tutorial for it.
Wow.
It's mad. But, they completely... Apparently, completely changes the dynamic of how you play. I learned a few of the moves on my own as I was playing it, and started to get my head around it, and realising it wasn't the same as 4 and 5, especially 5, and starting to enjoy it a lot more. But even stuff like the first time you encounter dogs, they are the most annoying enemies in the world because they keep knocking you over, and it drives you insane. But then I realised all I've got to do is wait for them to jump, hit the right trigger, I think it is, which is the parry move, and then you just smash them up straight away. So it's like, no, this is how you take on this enemy. You can't just do what you want. We've designed this in this way, and this is the way you've got to do it. You can't just shoot at them and then when they knock you down go, oh, the game's wrong, because there is the option there to do it properly. So I do get the feeling that I haven't played enough, so I mustn't be too judgmental on people's reviews, and I'm talking about the super negative ones here. But I just get the feeling that people, if they had to rush it for review, and it's a massive, massive game, B, are trying to play it exactly as they want and aren't taking the time to learn the new systems, and 3, are reviewing it to their own sense of expectation and not what it is, because you can't score that game lower than Operation Raccoon City. You just can't. You cannot.
Yeah, that's that really irked me as well. But the bit you're talking about, the dogs, that wound me the fuck up as well. I didn't realise that there was any way to do it, but there have been other scenarios where, like the bit where you fall down that glacier, you do have to change how you play in order to beat it.
Yeah, honestly, I died about 3 or 4 times on those dogs, and I was like, oh, this is where the game gets shit. And then I remembered that there was this parry move, and I thought, well, I'll just wait for him, see if I can parry them. I smashed them up without taking a hit in about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then just walked off with them dead. And I was like, oh, okay. It's just challenging me to not just, point and shoot at everything straight away. And it fucking looks amazing.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it on my big TV, which I don't play many games on the big TV. And the bit where you're going down the sewer tunnel, it's like really misty, and you can see this stuff coming out of the fog at the background of the zombies. It's like, that is so atmospheric. Yeah. And people said it's not scary, but it scared me.
Yeah,
it made me jump and creep me out a couple of times.
Yeah, I've had a couple of moments as well. Although, funnily enough, the Chris Redfield campaign, which is the one that's most like Resident Evil 5, I think is the best one. It's a shooter more than anything else, but I think that's on balance, that's the best of the 3.
That's really interesting, because everybody says Leon's is the best, but I'm going in with an open mind into all of it. I like it, man.
Yeah, I'm the same as that. It's something that irks me about people who are really, really vindictively trying to say that it's a shit game. It really isn't. You just need a bit of patience, and But then again, I said the same thing about Never Dead. There's systems in that nobody wanted. Everyone just thought it was a hack and slash game, and it wasn't. There's all these other things there that if you take advantage of, you have a blast with it.
It can be the reviewer's curse in some ways, that because you have such a short amount of time to blast through something. I'm not reviewing Resident Evil, so I can take as long as I want. Yeah. And say you've got another 2 things on your plate. These aren't excuses. They're just reasons why these things sometimes happen. And in actual fact, when they do happen, the reviewer should look at themselves and think, I've not done a good enough job there, and I'm guilty of that. I'm sure every reviewer is at some point in their career. But you blast through it, you think it is what it is, and when it doesn't work to how you want it to work, you get annoyed with the game, blame the designers, where in actual fact a guy who bought that game, be it Never Dead, be it Resident Evil, be it anything, would take the time to learn the systems, because they made a proper investment, and they're not trying to
I always find that I always do go out of my way as much as I can to try and imagine that I've just shelled out 40 notes for something. But even if I hadn't, Resident Evil 6 is not a bad game by any stretch, and the amount of content is absurd. If this, each campaign there's 4. You wouldn't have unlocked Ada.
No.
But you're looking at just shy of 40 hours content all in.
And the mercenaries thing, and and the agent hunt mode. Have you tried that? The kind of Left 4 Dead / Dark Souls type thing.
No.
There's a thing where you can unlock where you can then invade someone else's game as a zombie and hunt them down as they're playing.
Someone else's single player game?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
What, in someone else's campaign?
Yeah, like in Dark Souls. In Dark Souls you can dive into other people's game and fuck them up.
What?
And Left 4 Dead's multiplayer, you can play as the zombies, can't you? Agent Hunt mode. Google Agent Hunt mode. I don't 100% know all the facts, but that's the basis of it. That's the word I'm searching for.
I'm going to try that as soon as we finish recording this podcast. But Resident Evil 6. If you've ever liked a Resident Evil game and you're open-minded and patient, I think you're going to get one fuckload more enjoyment out of it than some people are suggesting you will, for sure.
Well, you might fucking hate it. Who knows?
You might fucking hate it, but it's the amount of work that's gone into it. It's a big. I feel that it's been kind of sidelined because too many people have taken those reviews on the chin, and it's a big bit. It's the biggest game Capcom have ever done. It looks incredible, and for all of its faults, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I loved what I played. I have to emphasise that I loved it. The only real issue I had was with the dogs, and then it did immediately become clear that it was me, not the game. And yeah, maybe it's a bit too QTE heavy, maybe. But there's even stuff like that. The ones where you spin the stick.
Yeah.
You can spin both sticks and do it twice as fast.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I like the fact that if you've got to do something, hammer a button or spin the sticks, there's that dial in front of you have to beat. I'm like, that adds a little something to it.
It does. I dig it. Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, well, I might come back next week and hate it. Who knows? But I'm definitely excited to go back to it.
Indeed.
So that was your number 3.
Yeah.
My number 3 is WRC3 World Rally Championship. I think that stands for 3. It's playing this today for review. It's really quite good. It's exactly as you think it is. It's a rally game, but they've made the style of it kind of a bit more arcadey, very accessible. But when you get onto the track, it's still a pretty hardcore game. But it's a hardcore game that's designed for a pad. I've been having trouble with racing games recently that are clearly not designed for pads. This is completely playable on a pad. What's crazy about it is it's incredibly hard. It's not hard to play. And I was driving around and I was having a decent race, I thought, clipped a couple of walls, whatever. And normally beginning of a racing game, they'll let you get away with that and you can still come first or whatever. No, 16th, that was 16. Every single time. Like 20 seconds off the lead. I was like, how the hell am I ever going to get enough stars to unlock the next track? It's like Dark Souls, man. It's so unbelievably unforgiving that... I mean, if you mess up a couple of corners, and I'm not talking about crashing into a wall or driving off a cliff, I'm talking about not quite hitting the apex right and accelerating out of it properly, or not quite hitting your handbrake right and doing a perfect hairpin, you ain't going to get anywhere near the top of the leaderboard, and you're not going to get enough stars unless you put it down to the very, very easiest setting, which in any other game would be like casual, shut your eyes and just play through it mode. And this, it's still super hardcore. You have to do it exactly right. And then you can get towards the top of the leaderboards. I was having flawless rally races, and when I was having those flawless rally races, it felt great. So I kind of admired the fact it was like, no, this is how you have to play it. And if you don't play it like this, you ain't going to succeed. And also, if you don't play it like this, you're not going to enjoy the game properly, because when you do get into that mindset, and weirdly I have to play it on bumper cam. It's the only racing game ever that I play on bumper cam. I normally play outside the car. But when you're doing really well, there's a real sense of flow to it. The kind of flow that I normally get from like almost a rhythm action game or a shoot, or, a cave shooter or something like that. That kind of thing where you can't let thoughts into your brain, because the second you start thinking about something, you fuck up. That gaming feeling that you get, that kind of transience. And it felt like that. And I guess maybe that's what it feels like to be really good at rally driving in real life. But yeah, I thought they did a banging job. It's not an amazing game, but I was surprised by how fun it was.
Did you play online?
There's no one on there because it's not out yet.
Okay,
but it's not. Nothing's head to head in rally. It's all you against. It's time trials, isn't it? So it doesn't really matter if you're playing online.
Wasn't there a World Rally Championship game out at the beginning of the year? Do they release more than one a year?
I thought it was last year, or
maybe it is. Maybe it is. Okay, well that sounds all right.
It is. It's good if you like rally. It's a really nice game. It's not a 9 out of 10 or anything silly like that. But yeah, I thought when I picked up the review, I was like, I'll get it done, but I don't think I'm going to enjoy this. But within a couple of races, even when I was coming bottom of the thing and thinking I'm never going to unlock another track, I was still really enjoying the handling model and the feel of the game and the flow. So yeah, I enjoy it.
Okay, genuine. Wait, it's out when?
It's out Friday. So today, if you're listening to the podcast.
So I mean, who's going to buy that? They must sell, I guess.
It's. I mean, it is officially licensed WRC. So, whoever the fuck watches rally and likes rally games, there's plenty of people out there. They just generally aren't you or I. But it's one of that's what a niche game is.
Yeah.
When people say niche and they don't know what it means, that's an actual niche game with a paying and willing audience.
Yeah. Okay, genuine. Okay, my number 2 is Fable: The Journey. I've played considerably more of it than you have. Obviously, I'm going to play it again some more tonight and review it tomorrow. I saw the reviews landed today. Some of them were quite nasty. Again, I don't think it's as bad as those people say. Kinect is a problem, but as was the case with Kinect Adventures and Star Wars Kinect, they embraced Fable: The Journey is good because they realise the limitations of Kinect. Although I have to say it's not as good as Kinect Star Wars. I think that's a better game, just because you didn't literally no combat or anything, did you?
Fuck all, yeah. It just wasn't working properly. So technically I played it, but I more watched it. I watched someone do combat.
Okay. The combat's really interesting because it's exactly the same as Star Wars in that you throw fireballs and projectiles, and then you can sort of take a projectile and then throw it across to another part of the area. Throw something in one direction and redirect it to the other.
Yeah.
The reason Star Wars works so well is because if you threw a fireball or whatever the hell you want to call the Force or whatever, if you threw it at the top of the screen and there was 2 enemies at the back, it would just there was a little bit of give. It would sort of assist you and send it off in that direction.
Right.
Whereas on this, it is ridiculously accurate. I mean, at first it works fine, but when the combat actually starts, it's far, far too accurate.
Right.
I don't even know.
That seemed to be the problem that the people I was watching were having.
Yeah, but accurate's the wrong word, because there were times when I felt like I was exactly hitting, aiming projectiles at the right direction, and it just that they were flinging all over the place. So I think they've overshot themselves a little bit in giving it that much to do. But apart from I mean, they're not completely detrimental. I think the rest of the game works surprisingly well. I'm enjoying it. It's also no fuss has been made about this at all, but it's the first Kinect game, to my knowledge, that you play sitting down.
Yeah, I think that's right. Steel Battalion, you play sitting down.
Did you?
Yeah, because you have to stand up to look through the cockpit.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry, I forgot. I mean, when this started and the diagram had the guy sitting down, I was like, oh, at last. But of course, Steel Battalion did it first. Fuck, I completely forgot about that. But apart from the combat, which is problematic, not a complete washout, but problematic, and I don't know why they didn't learn from Kinect Star Wars, because that nailed it as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it's really nice. The whole thing, I think I read a review, the Destructoid review, which sort of pointed out that it's about a relationship with a horse, and that's a big part of it. You form this relationship with your horse, you tend to it, you look after it, you clean it, you pull arrows out of its backside when it gets shot. So it's the kind of thing that I don't want to pander to stereotypes or anything, but young girls would absolutely love, because there's a real emphasis placed on this relationship that you have with this horse. The horse riding mechanics are really good. Even when you're sitting down and the Kinect camera's only got your sort of upper body, you're meant to sort of use. It feels like you're directing your hands off. Right. Out of the camera's view, and yet it picks them up really well. When you're on the horse, it actually works exceptionally well, I have to say.
Does it support Gangnam Style dancing?
No, I don't think it does.
No, that's a shame.
Maybe DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just. It is fun. The fact that the combat doesn't work properly, I think they kind of know that, because there isn't a huge emphasis on it. And there was a big statement made about how it's open world. It's not. You can move around left to right within sort of combat scenarios, but you could do that in Star Wars as well. And when you're on your horse riding missions, there'll be sort of circles, sort of ghostly, sort of fairy circles on the ground. If you stop in those, they're like side missions essentially that are really, really straightforward. But why would you avoid them? They're optional, but why would you ride past them? Because it's part of the game. It's fun. If you like Fable, I mean, it's still humour's at the forefront. It's also still that world that's just a bit daft. It's like 1 part Monty Python, 3 parts slightly nauseating Christmas panto, but then again, it's for kids, so I don't really begrudge that. I think it's pretty good, you know? Not pretty good. If
All right.
It's not bad. The combat's a problem, but it's decent. It is more than decent, and the production values are through the roof. They've spent a lot of money on it. It's good looking.
Oh, well, okay. I'm never going to play it, but
most people won't. It's
but I'm glad it's better than some people think.
It's not.
You seem to be quite forgiving of Kinect stuff.
Not really. Yeah, I know people might think that. I still don't understand.
Not in a bad way, but you know, you don't just jump on its back just because it's Kinect, which is probably the right way to be.
Yeah, there are things wrong with it. Make no mistake, but for the most part, the majority of what I've played works perfectly. Yeah.
Cool. So my number 2 was Resi. We've done Resi to death. So.
Okay. My number 1 was Rock Band Blitz. And
we've done that to death pretty much. Awesome. You said you wanted to talk more about it later on, actually. Sorry, apologies.
Did I have anything more to say? No, I don't.
I'm going to guess a Facebook connection.
Oh, that's right. I haven't done that yet. I had to change some settings on my Xbox, but yeah, I realised that you can link your Facebook account to your Rock Band Blitz, and there's challenges, and you can win DLC and stuff. So it's not that I want to do that; it's that I need to do that because otherwise I'm going to bankrupt myself. There's 2 songs that are killing me. They're tearing me apart. Painkiller by Judas Priest is tearing me apart. I don't think I'll ever get a gold. I can't get a gold star on that. I'm in the top 100, I think, but I still can't get a gold star. There's a Doors song that I think I'm 18th in the world, and I still can't get a gold star on. Incidentally, I realised when I was playing Rock Band Blitz that every Rock Band game, if it's done one thing, it's point out that almost all classic American rock music is fucking terrible.
Wow, that's a controversial opinion.
Do you not think that?
Depends what it is.
Well, almost all of it.
Classic American rock music.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like some of it.
Steely Dan? One of the worst songs I've ever heard in my life is on Rock Band. It's Steely Dan.
I don't really know much about Steely Dan.
Grateful Dead?
Yeah, I don't really like Grateful Dead.
Yeah, I mean, the Doors are appalling.
I don't really like the Doors, but people are gonna hate us now, probably.
Sorry, yeah, I mean, the Doors are terrible. I mean, and this is probably going to be controversial as well. But I mean, no one ever is going to argue that Kiss are a good band, surely.
Yeah, I can't stand Kiss.
Rush.
I hate Rush. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I like Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Oh no, yeah, you know what? I'll give them a day. They're
Free
fine.
Bird and Simple Man. Yeah, that's all good.
See, I was a bit. I did overstep the mark a little bit by saying all of it's crap, but so much of stuff that you hear is supposed to be great. And
there's so much stuff that when he said that, I immediately thought, yeah, Stones, Cream, and I was like, of course they're not American in the slightest. No,
they're not.
Yeah. I kind of just throw it all together just because of the time, I think. But
Aerosmith have done a couple of really nice pop songs, but by and large, their back catalogue is fucking dreadful. I mean, there's so much music on there. I should have made a checklist, but bands that you've like heard about, legends surrounding, you know, all this sort of history, and you hear them, and you're like, what? I mean, Rush. I bet you being in Rush is easy because if you can't make a gig, the organisers just go out and pick a bunch of homeless guys up and just fucking smash a load of fucking instruments around. It was like, brilliant. It's genius. Anyway.
Better than Kiss, though.
That's a very good... I should say Kiss, yeah, because Kiss isn't even music. It's like... Well, it's music. Anyway, listen. If you think my girlfriend started being Larry. Right. So she got a higher score on me in the song, and she was like, oh, don't worry, it's probably because you only played it once and you haven't gone back to it. And I was like, okay, fair enough. And now she's getting to the point where, oh yeah, so the gloves are going to come off soon, but she's being doubly Larry about you because I don't think you've got a higher score than her on anything at this point.
Well, that's just bullying, really.
Yeah.
I've given her nothing back, so it's just,
right.
it's actually quite unpleasant. You should have a word with her.
She ain't that good, so beat her. But Rock Band Blitz, I
don't have an entire Saturday to dedicate it to her, so...
That was an accident.
A likely story. My number 1 is Provo. That's the game I played the most this week, and will be the game I played the most a lot of weeks, I'd imagine. I had an actual bit of spare time at one point this week, which is amazing, and I spent most of it playing Provo online, and had match after match after match of brilliance. Some I lost, some I won, some I drew. It didn't matter. Was rarely frustrated, apart from that classic Pro Evo football frustration, which is fine. Scored some wonderful goals, played some wonderful passing movements, had some like true jumping out of your seat, punch in the air like an idiot in your house moments. It's the dream for me because I always wanted that experience I used to have when I was a teenager and a young student playing Pro Evo and ISS, but I wanted to have that online. And as much as I played some of the early online Pro Evos, it just wasn't that, and now finally it is. I listened to the podcast last week where David very, very eloquently broke down FIFA and Pro Evo, and I thought it was an excellent discussion. But I do disagree with him to a point, because he talked about the randomness of Pro Evo and the kind of the formula of FIFA, and I agree with him to a point, because randomness is a huge part of Pro Evo. But that game to me has always been about conquering the randomness, which is what ultimately football is all about. Because one guy turns right instead of left in a match of football, and a football match, and the entire game changes. Why it annoys me when people go, "Oh, he should have had 2 goals already," and it's like, well, no, because if he'd scored the first goal, the first chance that he'd had, the second one would have never existed. So you can't, it's that just chaos theory microcosm that I talk about sometimes when I talk about football. And Pro Evo's always managed to capture that brilliantly, and FIFA's trying, but it hasn't got there yet. And now Pro Evo is just back to what it was, but with all these added elements and layers to it, plus the options file that I put on there now, which gave me all the teams and the kits, which I didn't even know was possible on 360 until Dave mentioned it last week on the podcast. I just love it. I'm so happy that it's back.
Yeah, I mean, I love it too. I just it's game after game of amazing matches.
Yeah. This goal I scored with Lampard, honestly, I played with Chelsea. The ball came out and I just volleyed it first time, went right in the middle of the goal. Honestly, I saved it. It was a joke how good it was.
The goal you scored with who?
With Lampard. Frank Lampard, yeah.
Lampard. But yeah, I mentioned it before, that through ball that I did the other day.
Was that when I was there?
Yeah, I played against you online like 2 days ago.
Oh, yeah.
Just the most... But everything about it, judging the distance, the trajectory, everything, I felt like I did it. If you pull something off like that in FIFA, you don't always feel that. That's why it's so satisfying, because you feel like you're actually contributing to what's happening.
Weirdly, I almost liken it to Halo, and I think it's the same spirit that I love about Halo, is that Halo, you have these moments of inspiration and almost heroism when you're playing Halo, where you'll just quickly map out exactly how to take out a few enemies using a ludicrous set of moves like jump, spinning grenade, melee here, shoot that guy. We've all done it in Halo. It's what it does amazingly. And you have that when you score the great goals in Pro Evo as well. Just suddenly everything clicks and you do something absolutely outrageous. Remember that chip that I scored at your house online, where you played the little through ball and I think it was a back heel, and then drew the keeper and just lobbed it over him? It was a joke. Yeah. And I probably couldn't do it again if I tried, but it just happened. And at that moment I felt more in control of any game than I've ever felt. And that's what that game's always done. When you can harness it, when you can harness the chaos, that nothing can touch it, as far as I'm concerned. And I am a huge football fan as well, so it does help. But
I'm not, and I think it's... The other day I said to you, it's a joke how much better this is than FIFA. It's just... But again, as I said last week, it's about what you want a football game for. If you want to play a football game all year, FIFA. If you intermittently get one out, then Pro Evo's your man. And I do think it's just tremendous. The only thing is... Pro Evo getting back to past glory, it's now just a waiting game for them to fucking ruin it all again.
Yeah, I know. Tragedy, isn't it? With the new engine next year, that's just going to go one or two ways. I'm just hoping it's the right way.
Well, I'll hold on to this one for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, like I did in the day with the PS2 ones, because they kept making them for PS2, and while the Xbox ones were fucking up, the PS2 ones were still amazing. Yeah. And that might continue here, because there's a good chance the next one might be on some magical new console that doesn't exist yet.
Indeed.
But Pro Evo.
It's a cracker.
It is.
Okay, thank you very much for listening. There wasn't a lot of new stuff this week, but next week I think it's going to be a bit more chocker. I hope so, anyway.
Big one next week, yeah. Dishonored, XCOM, probably Hotline Miami, Retro City Rampage, ton of stuff next week.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay, yeah, thanks very much for listening. The usual shit. Facebook, Twitter, the website. Oh, many thanks to what's his name? Angry Cadaver. Is that right?
Oh yes, yeah.
Who wrote a really, really great article on the Metro, which if you check on our Facebook page, there's a link to it, but it's about the best UK independent podcasts, and we were on there, which was really nice.
Yeah, that was amazing. Thank you very much.
Indeed. Yeah, okay, well, thanks very much for listening. Do all that other stuff. Go on Facebook and Twitter and do something with it.
FineArtPlaylist.com.
Yeah, do that stuff. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
I hate swimming. He hates swimming. Fucking hell.
Not to think, I'll take a punt on 600 points. I don't need it.
It's not the time to play it. I mean, it's a really old game anyway. It's like 5-6 years old or something, and it doesn't age. So save it for next year. Maybe one day we'll sesh it.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame if you never got a chance to sesh it for an hour or so, just so you know, so you can make your mind up then.
Did you use a stick or did you use a pad?
Yeah. You can play with the pad, but it's better on a stick.
Yeah, I played with the pad, but yeah, okay, everything's better on a stick.
Yeah, but it's not like so bad that playing on a pad you can't play it. You know, like Street Fight, you can't really play it on a pad because there's not many quarter circles and things like that. You can play reasonably well on a pad, especially PS3 pad.
Okay.
My number 8 is New Star Soccer. I won't really bang on about it very much. It just never gets old. Every time that I see the icon on my phone, I'm like, mate, yeah, I'll go on in. I'll have a game, but I'm probably bored of it, and then I get sucked in for another 20 minutes, half an hour. Everybody that I've ever told about it that's bought it has become obsessed with it, and I said that seems to be the case for everybody. I'm sure you've played it by now, people who are listening. Yeah, brilliant game. Will be in the top few in my games of the year, no question. It has to be.
Fair enough. Yeah, not much to say about that because...
Yeah, I banged on about it loads. It's just in the list.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
Well, my number 7's FIFA. Spoken about it. It's still there.
Right. Well, yeah. Firing through, my number 7 is Borderlands 2. Again, no time. This is a time of year where it's stupid, actually. This particular 2-week period is particularly stupid. Especially as we had, I was rude enough to go on holiday, which obviously doesn't leave you with a lot of time to play video games. But I want to play Borderlands 2 a lot. I really like what I've played. I want to play it in co-op, which you said I didn't want to do last week, which was very rude of you and David.
No, I didn't. I said that you weren't playing it in co-op, and you said that you were having just as much fun.
That's right. No, I said I reckon it would be more fun in co-op. So it was libelous.
Okay.
But yeah, co-op's sometimes hard to organise with people. But it's frustrating because it's one of those games that I really want to play, but I know how big it is, and more stuff has come since then, and then more stuff's coming in this week, and then more stuff will be next week, and I'm like, at the moment, that's the one that seems to be slipping to the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
As more and more stuff comes in, that's probably slightly more my cup of tea. Borderlands, Loot, which are.
I played it for 7-8 minutes. I had to rush out afterwards, so I'm going to buy the full game at some point this week and play it again. But it looks really, really impressive. And that's right. There's a fast forward mechanic, which I don't know how that plays a part. I suppose once you get locked in a room, it lets you fast forward. It's basically just a load of seemingly good ideas. Whether they
that sounds good. Is it 80 points?
80 points. So I was like, it looks like 80 points, and it looks like it should cost a shitload more than that. So yeah, it might not live up to what I'm expecting it to, the expectations that I have.
Yeah.
But it's looking really, really tidy.
It does sound good. What's it called again?
City Tuesday.
City Tuesday. All right, I'm going to write that down on a piece of paper right now, and I'm going to check that out. That looks all right.
If I had
Sounds
a penny
good.
for every time you've said that, and
you'd have about 9p.
Yeah,
you have 9p if you
come
want.
good on it this time. Actually, have a look.
I will do. I've written it on a piece of paper. It kind of says city and then just a T and then a scribble, but I'll know what that means.
Will you?
Yeah. Or if not, 10p. So you win either way.
Yeah. Incidentally, download Quiet Please while you're there as well.
That's on another piece of paper in a different book.
Yeah, indeed.
Number 10 for me is Fable the Journey. I don't know. Fable the Journey. I don't know. It's a bit egregious of me to even have this in the list because I played it for about 4 seconds at Euro Gamer Expo, but I watched it being played for a bit longer than that. When I played it, I sat down and the Kinect wasn't working properly. I don't know if that was the game's fault or what was going on, but I was just like, I just don't want to play this shit. Then I watched someone else playing it, and that kind of reinforced my opinions when I sat there. But I mean, I must emphasise the fact that I didn't see it being played for more than 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm not passing judgment. That was just my initial gut reaction to it. Is it later on your list? I got a feeling
it's number two. It's number 2. So I'll speak about it in a bit. I'm picturing some poor booth babe who you upset when you sat down. It started. You went, bah, can't be bothered, and you got up.
No. It was a young fella, and I managed to get in and out before he noticed that he was talking to someone else.
Okay.
But otherwise I'd have been stuck there for 20 minutes trying to pretend that I liked it.
Okay, well, that guy probably cried himself to sleep that night. I hope you're happy.
Probably did. Saw his assignment, to be fair.
Okay, my number 9, one of the greatest things of all time. I did that. That was the well-judged decision that I made. FIFA, too often, I'm just like, you didn't work for that goal. You didn't earn it. I still think it's essentially a masterpiece, but I'm on the same team as you. Okay, right, my number 8 is Virtua Fighter 5.
No way.
Yeah.
All right. I'm intrigued now.
Why is that no way?
Because I just never thought, just as like I can't even remember what it's called, I've written it so poorly, the game that I wrote down on my notepad a minute ago, I thought this would be like that for you. I thought you'd never ever touch it.
Yeah, no, I downloaded the trial and I played through a round of arcade mode. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, nothing convinced me that I needed to own it, even though it's on sale at the moment. It's half price. It's extraordinarily fast-paced, very simple. I mean, like, rounds can last no time at all.
Yeah, they can.
But it's simple and engaging. I was surprised at how derivative all of the characters were. I mean, the problem with fighting games is that you don't know who came first with it.
Yeah.
But there's an E Honda, there's I can't remember. There's a load of fighting game characters who are just endlessly.
Yeah, a lot of them came from Virtua Fighter first.
Yeah, I thought that might have been the case. Yeah. But yeah, it didn't do anything to stand out. That's the problem. It was.
You need to play it with another person on a classic fighting game scenario, but you need to play it, and you start having, weirdly similar to Pro Evo, you start having like amazing moments over and over again in the matches. Yeah. They're not as amazing as catching someone at the last second with like Counter Ultra and Super Street Fighter. It's a bit more grounded than that, but I still rate it as technically the best 3D fighter.
What?
Yeah. Yes, I think it's a masterpiece.
Wow. Oh yeah, of course. No, I remember you talking about it. I mean, I liked it enough, but I'm kind of the problem.
You said it's simple, but it's really, really not. It's simple at first, but it's so much depth.
Yeah,
much depth.
I've no doubt about that. I might have been inclined to go deeper into it, but the problem with going into pre-Christmas is that I'm just looking for games that I can fucking stick on the done pile.
Yeah,
and you just don't start. Like, I don't need. Like, I'm looking for any reason. It's Lunar Racer on the iPhone. It's in the free app a day this week. It's been there all week, so I think it might be permanently free. You're a little race car racing around a planet.
The moon, maybe.
Possibly. I don't know. I don't think it's the same environment. Yeah, but I don't think it's the same every time. I mean, you're not racing
moons.
Different
Phobos.
Moons. Yeah. Yeah, you're racing around. It's reasonably neat. It's you hold the left to use gravity to pull you down to the surface, and holding the right screen sort of gives you a bit of a speed boost. And you also have to tilt it to sort of direct where your vehicle goes. You have to do backflips for challenges and stuff. Collect coins that are high up, and then dodge things that are high up. So you have to pull back down with the gravity. It's all right. It's not bad at all.
Freebie.
Yeah, I think it's permanently free, but it might not be. But if you like the look of it, I think it's. You won't know. I don't even know if there's a free trial. I should really do more research. It's okay for what it is, and although it's got the buy more currency structure, it doesn't seem to be pretty aggressive. I played it for a little while. It's nice actually. Yeah, it's quite nice. Lunar Racer.
All right, Lunar Racer.
Yeah,
that sounds all right.
It is all right.
My number 9 is not free. It's FIFA 13. Yeah, I mean, I've talked ad nauseum about the football games, so I don't want to bang on about it too much. And the other one is later on my list. But yeah, I just have to be careful. You know, when you kind of pick teams, I don't mean picking a football team. I mean, like, there's two camps in some sort of situation.
Yeah.
And you pick, you know, I'm on Team Pro Evo instead of Team FIFA. So instantly my brain starts, it's like, fuck FIFA, this is shit. But in actual fact, of course it's not. It's still very, very, very good. I've just chosen the things that I like about Pro Evo more than the things I like about FIFA this year. And I'll talk about them later. But it's good to remind myself as much as anything else, not to, just because I like one doesn't mean the other's doing anything particularly wrong.
Yeah, I haven't given up on FIFA yet. I think there's a danger that I'm going to end up keeping hold of both football games. I've got it's at number 7 on my list, but yeah, I've not given up on it yet. I do think it's too fast, but the package, I'm loving some of those extra modes. They're outstanding. But playing online, I do feel that there's, you know, like when we played Pro Evo, we'll speak about it later. Forget I ever mentioned it. That through ball I did, the lob through ball that landed at my player's feet in the box.
Where rev amount is parody.
Hello, welcome to episode 32 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. My name's John Denton and I'm back, and with me as always, Chet Roivas.
What's happening?
So if you've not listened to the podcast before, then there's 31 now, so sort that out straight away. 2 top 10 lists, games we've been playing the most this week. Number 10's the least, number 1's the most. Don't like waffling. Let's get going. Chet, number 10.
Right, my number 10, I actually did what you did a couple of weeks ago and realised at the last second that I only had 9. So I have played my number 10, but not enough I didn't intend to speak about it, but I'll speak about it briefly anyway. It's called City Tuesday on the Xbox 360.
Indie game?
It's one of those 7 or 8, I think it was, indie games that are part of that indie game uprising thing to sort of highlight the greatest of Xbox Live indie games.
Yeah.
The menu screen, the main menu came up, and I decided in my head that I was definitely going to buy it. I meant to Google this actually. It's rendered in a specific, you know, the universal symbols that are on like toilet doors for male and female.
Yeah.
The people look like that.
Right.
It's a white world with some flashes of colour, but it's all sort of boxy and incredibly hard to describe. It looks like a very simplistic mock-up of what an architect was mocking up it's very simplistic basically.
Right.
It has a similar plot to that Jake Gyllenhaal movie Source Code.
Oh yeah.
Basically, there's a series of bombs left around all these environments. One's a museum, one's a train station, and you have 5 attempts at doing the same day. You play the same day 5 times, and you have to defuse all of the bombs. Some of them, like there's a bomb that's in a room of a museum that's got diamonds in it, so as soon as you defuse the bomb, the alarm goes off and you spend the rest of the day in the room, so you have to sort of work out in which order to do them.